Yeah. No, it should be there in 3 days for sure, but maybe two. Another thing is in rural places like that, it's just one sort and it doesn't get picked up till like 4:15 or 4:30. So it's not like you're mailing in Ann Arbor where they're picking up 3 times a day. I mean, if you were really in a hurry and you really wanted to get them out, you were running short on time, it would be worth it to drive down to Saginaw and dump them in the box, because then they get there the next day. But if you didn't, you know, they'll get there in 2, but at the most 3. Yeah. Oh, easy. Yeah, no problem. I mean, I'm barring some fucking affirmative action supervisor dropping. Yeah, but it's pretty good. Yeah. How many more do you have to mail? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah. Which one? Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, these fucking idiots have to understand that it's your job. You know, those two, I went and saw a couple fags I know up in St. Clair Shores that run an antique store. And they know that fucking guy you nailed for growing that marijuana in his backyard. Yeah, he said the same thing. He's a fucking dick. Yeah, yep. Yeah. No, it's just I always forgot. I don't go there that much because they don't really know what the fuck they're doing. But he had some photo albums he sent aside, so I went up there. He's got a real sweetheart girl that works for him that used to own a boutique in Ann Arbor. I didn't know her, but I would run into her there occasionally. So I went up there and I brought his name up, and they said, "Yeah, what a fucking douche." He used to own an antique store right down the street. The motherfucker is actually pretty knowledgeable about antiques. So I can tell at one time he was in them pretty heavy. But, you know, I think they're living off her father. Her father was like a colonel or some shit in the service. He lives in St. Helen. But they said the guy was a real douche. They know him from like way back when. I think the probation officer thing must have been after he went out of business in the antique store. It's like the Tigers are having a game tonight. Well, you know, when I come down here on a typical like 3-day thing, that's once I get here, not counting going back and forth. I drive about 1,300 miles. I know. I go down to Toledo, fuck around Monroe, out to Ann Arbor, down to Detroit, back to Dearborn, out to Ann Arbor. Great. Hey, you gotta get that Mega Million. Yeah, fucking bitch. You know, if I really gave a fuck at that bitch thought, I would fucking fuck her over somehow. I'll tell you one thing, I will put it in her ass when I get a chance, silently. She won't know it. It's a shitty thing to say. Well, I told you that early on, because I got that vibe. If she knew you and I were talking, doing shit, she'd get fucking pissed. You know, I really don't know. I just kind of got that idea. I think it's, I don't really know why. I think if I had to put my money on it, I'd say it's because she's a real control freak, and she would get instantly paranoid that she didn't know how that would have occurred without her knowledge. You never said anything, and neither did I. And that's the kind of shit that drives that old bat nuts. You know, she likes to be the go-to person and stuff. And you didn't say anything, and neither did I. Like, she should be privy to everything, you know? Yeah, but that's not a good thing to say. But that's her way of, like, her being friends and contacting me rather than me texting you and not her. And she's a little off. Yeah, and I don't know how she would know I was always going to Detroit. I don't think I did, or I was going. I think she could have thought some of those Ann Arbor trips were Detroit when I was going to the doctor a lot. I don't really think she'd know me going to Detroit. Yeah, you know, that was a one-shot deal. I sold these goddamn Stations of the Cross, and I got them for like $1,300, and a guy gave me like $11,400 cash. He was a fucking Jew antique dealer from Saginaw, and I just happened to have that money on him, or I would have never done that. So when she didn't have the money, I just... For what? With the what? Stations? Well, you know, I wasn't all that high in them. They were absolutely fantastic. Hand carved, about 4 feet tall. But it was an incomplete set. And you can forget about the other. There are 14 usually. And I had 9. And 3 of them were kind of fucked up. So, I mean, I liked them, but the more I thought about it, it's like, it's an incomplete set. Fuck these things. You know, I've run into guys like this once in a while. You'll have these motherfuckers that'll just... He saw those before they were sold to me, and the guy wouldn't sell them to him. And that's kind of set the stage. And he actually, I'm not bullshitting, he thought like God wanted him to have them. And now his lifelong pursuit is finding the other ones, which you can fucking forget, which I tried to tell him. Because the guy I got him from is a real straight shooter. And supposedly they were in some storage thing. Allegedly they were from a Catholic church, but I know a lady that's a professor at St. Francis University. I just lent her a bunch of shit on some books she'd written. I had some family photo albums. And she said those were Coptic carvings, that they would have never been in a Catholic church, like Russian Orthodox or something. So I don't know that whole story. I really don't know. So I don't think he'll ever find him. I mean, nobody I knew ever saw him. And they're already like, 100 years old. But that's his pursuit, and blah, blah, blah. You weren't going to talk him out of it. He had to have him. Oh, God, about 10 grand. Yeah, I do. That doesn't, I'll tell you, man, collectibles are down. Even good shit, like Abraham Lincoln's. And I never really got into it to sell it. It's just I'd rather have some other things, and I can't like do 2 things at once. Fuck around with my, historical interests and start a new business. Got to be one or the other. I'm either balls out or nothing. So, yeah, I'm gonna do that for sure. But this time I want to do like IT things. I want to get some computer experts, cause and origin guys. I don't want to do what I did before. It's too much ass sucking. And the piece of pie is much thinner than it was when I last left it. Yeah. No. Nope. Nobody. Nobody. I wouldn't say nobody, but unlikely. But I could do work. I did work all over the state before, but you're not going to get it from there. It really doesn't matter where I live, whether I'm going from West Branch to Detroit or Detroit to West Branch, although most of the work would be down there. I don't. The only time I need good internet service is to write a report, and that doesn't need to be good internet service. It really doesn't. Because you're not uploading video and stuff while you're on the road. You're getting home, and we used to burn them to like DVDs, but now it's changed. Now you'd burn them to a memory stick or a flash drive. So it's actually gotten easier. And I always like hired guys that had decent writing skills. And, yeah, maybe I'll get lucky and find something that I didn't do before. But I'd like to do things that I would never do before. I would probably even do some work for the public if they, like were Grosse Pointe people or something. But I'm not going to go out there and fuck around for a couple $100 a day for some clown. I was always able to not do work for private people because I didn't want to fuck with it, and I was making way more money not doing it, and I knew it was a hassle from the little I did at the beginning. And besides, I plan on living off you anyway. Yeah. You said I'm your bitch. You said I'm your bitch. Yeah, well, he told you about that court-appointed bullshit. At Roscommon. Uh-huh. Oh, really? What? Now, would Scott compete against you in a non-prosecutorial? Would he really? How do you know that? Huh. Oh, really, huh? Oh, how much... what I wonder is, how much criminal work would there be, defense work, that would not be court-appointed around West Branch? It wouldn't seem like there'd be that much. He does. Why is that? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why he'd hang around with that Bryant guy. Is he a skirt chaser at all? Then what would they possibly have in common? He's an ignorant fucker. How long's he been around West Branch practicing? And how long's that? Oh, he's been there that long, huh? Uh-huh.